Hey everyone, and welcome to the Canadian LOE channel. I am a Canadian LOE, and I will be discussing police issues from both sides of the Canadian-American border. Let's start this off tonight with a video from the US that's been going around social media. There's a bit to talk about, but first, let's watch the video. The door is breached. The person with the shield is covering half the doorway, and then not being covered by the shield is the other officer with the AR-15. I may be wrong, but isn't that shield supposed to be covering them all? But okay, I digress, let's move on. Okay, I hear three people yelling directions at the suspect. This can be kind of confusing, especially if they're not all saying the same thing. The suspect inside the apartment walks towards the doorway with his hands up, and before the officers are able to verbally take control of the situation, a person in the background with the less lethal shotgun fires in a downward direction and hits the suspect, who then goes down on the ground. Now let's watch the officer with the shield. He's kind of hovering over, leaning over the suspect who's down on the ground with the shield over him. But what about the +1 rule? We are taught that if there's one suspect, there's two suspects. If there's one gun, there's two guns. There's one knife, there's three knives. If there's one bag of cocaine, there's two bags of cocaine. The +1 rule. With the +1 rule in mind, he should not be looking down at the suspect. He should be with that shield, protecting his officers, watching inside that apartment if they're using the shield. So now I'm going to talk about what I really think is going on with this team when they were executing this warrant. I think they were amped up and they didn't deal with that adrenaline as best as they could. I was taught when I first got hired as an LEO about something called the tachypsyche effect, which is a fancy way of saying how we deal with adrenaline in high stress situations. In the simplest forms, we've got three options. We can flight, fight, or freeze. And we all know that as officers, we're either going to fight or flight, because if we freeze, you're going to get hurt, someone else is going to get hurt. If not, you're going to get killed, or someone else is going to get killed. So what are the things that we experience when we're going through that tachypsyche effect? We can experience a time and space distortion, which basically just means what we think was 10 minutes was actually only a minute. The distance between objects can be out of whack. Auditory exclusion, meaning we might not hear something. In other words, you might have a partner saying something in your ear and you're like, no, you didn't say anything. You just didn't hear it. You can also experience tunnel vision, and you become target specific and lose perspective of other things. In other words, you don't see your peripheral vision. You're just really focused on that one thing. There's a loss of fine motor skills. Your body's natural reaction in order to survive is to divert more blood to the major muscles to help you either fight or run. How do the police deal with this? Training, training, training. And it is a mantra that I learned during my initial training to become an LEO. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Thank you for checking out my content. And if you liked it, hit the like and subscribe button below. And as always, stay safe, and we'll see you the next go around.